Hello and welcome to the presentation. My name is Daniel Zsoldos. I am Chief Data Monetization Officer at Barion, and I will talk about our Data Odyssey, or in other words, the journey how we built up our current operations, what kind of obstacles we faced, and how we experienced the data gray. So let's start with the agenda. First of all, I will give a short introduction of the company, who we are, what we are doing, and so on. Then I will talk about the things that make us data-driven. And right after that, we will dive a little bit deeper into the technical stuff, meaning that I will talk about our data collection, we'll show you how we are using the collected data, and I will also, of course, give some examples of the pitfalls and the obstacles we face and the solutions we came up to battle these problems. And at the end of the presentation, I will talk about the future, our roadmap, and how our journey will continue. So let's see who we are. Our company is called Barion, and we are offering a payment platform to e-shop owners, merchants, and basically everybody who would like to accept online payments. Not only that, we are also an e-money institution. That means that we are providing a service called Barion Wallet, where you can have an online balance. And if you upload money to this online balance, we convert this money to e-money, and you can use this e-money for buying different products, services, or sending it to your family members or friends if you wish so. Right now, we have more than 15,000 partners all over Europe, as you can see on the map on the right. We are focusing on the SMB sector because we think that the players within this sector do not have enough tools to make their life easier and to make their operations smoother. So we aim to provide these tools to them. With our payment platform, the merchants can accept Visa, MasterCard, or Amex payments, and they also can make it available to use Google Pay and Apple Pay to their users. Which makes us different from other payment services is that we have data-backed products and services, and so create revenue from the data we collect, and not only from the gateway fees. Okay, let's see how we are data-driven. We have a service called Barion Pixel, which is a lightweight JavaScript code. This is the code which we are using to collect data from our merchants. That means that every merchant implements this Barion Pixel on their side, so they are totally aware and in control of the data they are sending to us. Of course, our data collection is GDPR compliant, not only because the law entitles us to do so, but we also think that privacy is really important, and we would like to do anything to safeguard the data of the users of our partners. The Pixel has two different versions. One is the base Pixel, which basically sends only one event to us, and this is then used to filter fraudulent transactions or users who are aiming to do fraud transactions. The other version of the Pixel is the full Pixel, which is collecting a lot more different events from the user, but only if the user gives their explicit consent to do so. And even then, we only use these data only in an aggregated version. This aggregated data is then used to create services and products like Barion Targets or Barion Metrics, from which I will talk a little bit more later. So let's see how we collect data. As I already mentioned, our data sources are our merchants and their users. We record the events that the users of the merchants are doing on the merchant's website, like putting something in their basket, searching for some product within the eShop's search engine, clicking on specific products, and so on and so on. And all of these events generate different messages that are sent through a streaming pipeline to our data lake. The streaming pipeline is a Kafka, or two different Kafka pipelines which we are using. And these Kafka pipelines are transferring the data to an S3 compatible open source data lake solution. We are currently not in the cloud, but we chose an S3 compatible open source solution for the data lake, as I already mentioned, to be able to scale out to the cloud whenever we need to do so, and we would like to have larger capacity. Okay, and let's see what we are doing with the data once they are arrived in our data lake. As I already mentioned, we make different aggregations of our data. Basically, the three main aggregations we are using are product, segment, and merchant level aggregations. Let's see what we are doing with these. The product level aggregation is mainly used to serve as an input for classification and segmentation activities. We are doing this basically for data refinement purposes. The segment level aggregation is something we are doing to create different interest and behavior-based segments, which then can be used as target groups in programmatic advertisement campaigns to show relevant ads only to those ones who are really interested in this. I will talk about this service on the next slide. And the other aggregation type which we are using is a merchant level aggregation. This is mainly created to help our merchants to leverage their first-party data and to provide services and products that are fed only with their data and is so tailored to their needs, like Barion metrics, which I will also talk a bit more in the next following slides. Okay, let's see the first use case I already mentioned. This service is called Barion Targets. This is the service that creates different target groups for programmatic advertising. The idea behind this is to show different advertisements only to those users who are really interested in these kind of products or services. To give you an example, if there is someone who is interested in spicy food and Italian food, then whenever we have an advertisement that is showing a new spicy pizza, then it really makes sense to show this advertisement to that user who is interested in the Italian food and the spicy food, because this will result in more clicks and more effective advertisement campaigns for our advertisement partners. Yeah, this is basically the next point on the slide. The more they like the ad, the more they will click it, and the better results will be generated for the partners and brands we are working with together. Our partners within this service are digital agencies and direct advertisers. There are really small companies and really large companies who are using our data to target the right audience for their advertisements. I have brought some examples from the companies which we are serving with our data. You can see this one on the right. So we have run different campaigns for MasterCard, IKEA, Vodafone, and so on and so on. So as I already said, we have really large partners that are really satisfied with the data and with the performance we can deliver to them. How we are delivering the data and the technologies we are using are mainly DMPs, data management platforms, which is a great tool in online advertising. And we also can sync our data or our target groups to DSPs, which is the abbreviation to demand-side platform, which is used by those ones who are effectively running the campaigns or showing the advertisements on different websites. So that is use case number one. Use case number two is Barion Metrics, which uses the merchant level aggregation of our data. And this is an analytics tool which we provide for our merchants to give them a deeper understanding of the performance of their e-shop and the visitors they are reaching with their product. Barion Metrics does not need any additional setup, so that means that whenever a merchant implements the full pixel, they don't need to do anything else, and they will receive the statistics you can see on the right in form of two free dashboards where they can find relevant data of the products the users like the most, they mostly put in their basket, the different payment methods that are mostly used on their side, the search terms the user are entering in their search engine, and so on and so forth. We also plan and will launch 3 different more dashboards, which the users, the merchants, can buy for a small amount of money and gives them relevant information how their e-shop performs within their sector. So basically, this tool, Barion Metrics, can be used for a substitution for Google Analytics, especially as Google phased out Universal Analytics, which was quite good, understandable, and quite widely used. And the new version, the GA4 that Google is providing after Universal Analytics, is a lot different and a lot harder to understand for small and medium-sized players. So the idea is to give an analytics tool that uses metrics that the merchants can easily understand and use within their daily work. Okay, at this point, we reached a stage in our operations where we have an active data flow, are collecting GDPR compliant data, and we also have one product and one service which we have built on these products. So we could easily kick back and say, just like Mr. Burns does, that excellent, now we are working. But the ugly truth is that we are most of the time more like Homer, and we face situations where we say, no, not again. So this makes us then talk about pitfalls and the obstacles we faced during our journey. Let's talk about pitfall number one. The biggest problem while we were building up our services was the expectation regarding the data flow. Our expectation was that once the merchant creates the tracking code implementation, of course, we are helping them to create it as we would like to have it. Then this tracking code implementation gets successfully verified by our colleagues. And after that, the data is flowing until the eShop operates or is in partnership with us. And we can use this data for creating the aggregations and the different products I already talked about. The reality, in contrast to this, is that the tracking code often gets corrupted. That means that the merchants are changing something in the source code and they forget white space or another character in the tracking code, which makes the code unable to operate and send events to our servers. Another problem is that sometimes some mandatory or key events get omitted while they are changing the code structure of the site. This happens quite often, to say the truth. And this also causes a problem because some of the aggregations and products rely on these key events, and if we don't receive them, then we cannot create these products or cannot create in that quality, that quality which we would like to do. And that it is also happening sometimes that after a minor change or a design change of the eShop, our tracking code completely vanishes. And then we do not receive any events from that merchant. How we can handle this problem, or what we need to come up to this problem? The solution of us is monitoring. So we have built a lot of monitoring dashboards and routines that helps us to get a good overview if the data is flowing correctly or if there is any problem with the data collection. One tool we use for that is Grafana. This is an open source web application if you did not hear about this tool. And this is good for monitoring incoming data. We use that tool to create figures like you can see on the right, to monitor the incoming data and to see if the current pattern match earlier patterns. That means that the incoming data of the current Friday, for example, should also look like the same than the last Friday, and so on. If there is some disturbance in these patterns, then we know that there is some problem with the data collections and we have to look deeper into that. We also use this tool to monitor incoming data in real time. That means that we look after that the data volume is consistent or not. That means if there is any spike or drop in the data volume within a day, then we also know that something happened to the tracking code on one of our partners' side. The other tool which we are using for monitoring purposes is called Metabase. This is also an open source tool, but this is more used for doing data visualizations. And it is a great tool to create custom dashboards and figures like you can see on the right. And this tool we are using for monitoring the implementation health. So this is used by us to see how many valid and invalid implementations we have at a given point in time. You can see this on the upper chart. The green bars obviously show where the implementations are all right and sending the data as it is required. And the red ones are obviously those ones which we need to look deeper into because there is some problem with the tracking. We also use this tool to monitor implementation health broken down by merchant. That is the table that you can see on the lower right. In this table, we have listed all of our merchants who are using the full pixel solution of us. And we have broken down their implementations to the mandatory events which they need to implement and which they need to have working all over their operation. Here again, the green color shows where every mandatory event is working properly and we receive the data which we would like to receive. And the red one shows where there are some problems, where we do not receive any event at all, or only some of the mandatory events are missing. So with these two tools, Graph and Metabase, we can have a good overview of the current status of the tracking and find those points where we need to look deeper or do some interaction with the tracking. Okay, let's see pitfall number 2, and that is the expectation of structured data. People often say that working with e-commerce data is quite easy because it's structured. We also thought that, but we have seen the ugly truth since then, that mostly e-commerce data is not so structured than one would expect. So let's see the expectations on the left. When we started to collect data, we expected something like you can see in this example I brought to you. That we receive a proper name, saying something like iPhone 13, 128 gigabytes, receiving a proper price and the currency, and also a category name that can be used for clusterization and categorization on our end. In contrast to this, the reality is something like you can see on the right. This is actually an example from the incoming data from the other day, so that is not something that I made up my mind. That is real data we are receiving. And as you can see, the name is mostly unusable for doing anything because we can't even distinguish which one in that name should be the vendor's name. Is it Plus? Is it Plus model? And we also cannot distinguish what kind of product this thing wants to be. If you examine the name, you can find the bricks word 2 times in the name, which would make you think that this is some product in the construction category. So you would categorize this into the construction category, but in reality, I have looked after it, and this is something product that is more relatable into the toy category, because this is like something that is used for creating modeling tools and tables. So this is small bricks that can be used for doing small models of houses, for example, or something else on a table. And as you can also see, we do not receive the currency for that product, so we don't know if that 135 is euros, Hungarian forints, Czech crowns, or anything else. So we cannot use this information either. And if you look at the category, this is also an unusable piece of information, because reduced price is not a category that can be used to create a classification or to create a proper categorization of this product. So we have to completely throw that away as well. Coming to the solution to this problem, I have to disappoint you a little bit, because we do not have one and only solution to that problem, but there are some things which you can do to address problems like this. The short message of this solution is keeping the value. And when I say keeping the value, I rather mean throwing the noise away. So when we are going back to the previous slide, I would say that this product on the right can be thrown away completely, because we spoke about it that the name and also the category is basically useless to do further categorization or understanding of this product. So whenever you think that someone isn't usable, then throw it away or throw the nosy part away. That leads to us to another topic, which is called normalization. So whenever you receive a product name that contains kilogram, meters, or something, other measurements or some other words that are not of value for aggregation and categorization processes, then you should throw away these words from the product names or even the category names. This means the normalization. Or what you can do is also using stop words. When you use stop words, you can easily filter out those product or category names which you cannot use for further data processing. So you can, well, as I said in the first point, throw the noise away and keep the value of the data by not using input that would make your data noisy and harder to interpret. After these steps, like normalization and usage of stop words, you can also use and should use tokenizations and keep only some of the tokens if you have really long product names. That helps you again to better understand and to be able to better categorize the input or the products you are receiving. And as a kind of last step or a kind of intermediate step, you can do also vectorizations and create vector models of the product names of the products that you receive or of the input that you receive. And after doing these steps, you can also use different AI models for classification and let the machine learning do the rest. I know this is only scratching the surface, and we could speak about this for several more minutes and also hours, but we don't have the time to do so. So let these bullet points be some takeaways you memorize and look after if you have to clean the data and keeping the value of the input data that is ambiguous. Okay, and coming to the future of the company and how our journey will continue, we built up our current operations and plan to do so in the future as well on 3 different parts or types of operation. These are accept, automate, and grow. By accept, we are meaning some of the operations we currently also do, like accepting Visa, MasterCard, Google Pay, Apple Pay payments, and so on, providing the Barion wallet for having a balance that can be used for payment or sending money to your relatives. But we also plan to create a soft POS solution in the future that can be used to accept bank card payments via mobile phone, which is good for our merchants that have on-the-spot payments, on-the-spot products or services and on-the-spot payments. And we also plan to create buy now, pay later solutions, which means that the client can buy different products without paying them right at the time of the purchase, but having some solutions to pay afterwards for this product or service. Coming to the next part, that is automation, is that we want to give solutions to our partners which makes their operations more smooth. That means that creating APIs and different solutions to them that they can use to automate their everyday processes. For that, we already have some Barion APIs where they can create subscription payments or delayed capture or things like that. But we also plan in the future to give them the opportunity for automatic currency exchange and to provide a Barion ID solution, which makes it more easier and more secure to authenticate their users. And last but not least, the grow part of our operations is to provide solutions and products to our merchants that enables them to grow their business and to have more conversation and selling points within their user journey. For that, we plan to create a recommendation engine that we will build upon the data we are collecting, and we will be able to give more precise and a more appealing recommendation to the users who is browsing a merchant site, and who is where we know what the different user is interested in. So with this product, we will aim to give a better recommendation than any other third-party recommendation system that are currently out on the market now. We also plan to create a self-service campaign management opportunity for our merchants. That means that within the Barion wallet, we would like to make it available to them to create, for example, retargeting campaigns to their users, meaning that they can start an advertising campaign to reach all of the users who have something put in their basket but did not purchase these products that are in the basket, or were in the basket if they deleted it in the meantime. And another thing is also that we would like to create some loyalty and couponing solutions that the merchants, e-shop owners can use to gain more returning users or larger amount of purchases within their web shops, e-shops. These are basically the next steps which we would like to achieve and follow. And with that, we reached the end of my presentation. Thank you for joining. And if you have any questions or are interested in some more details, just hit me up on the contact details you can see on the screen. Thank you, and tune in the next time as well. Bye-bye.